and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today I'm going to do something a little bit differently than what I normally do. I'm going to talk about a new, I don't know if it's that new, but it's semi-new Netflix special called Immigration Nation. If you haven't heard of it, like I said, it is on Netflix. Now, I don't tend to watch Netflix that much these days because Netflix has become ridiculously left-leaning. So a lot of the programming is very biased. But this one in particular caught my eye because I get asked a lot of questions as a Latina woman, how I can possibly support Trump. Now, that is a question I probably get more than anything. And I oftentimes find myself having to explain over and over and over again. And then I also wonder how people can think the way they do, that Trump is this monster, that he hates immigrants, that he hates illegal aliens, all this other stuff. So that's why this documentary really caught my eye and I decided to watch it. And I'm really glad I did. I thought it was a good documentary. It was very informative, but in typical Netflix style, it was very, very one-sided. So I'm going to show you really quick the trailer for Immigration Nation, and then we'll come back and discuss it. So roll the clip. So you guys saw the clip for it. I'm sure you're watching it going, that's something I'd like to see. Well, I encourage you to definitely watch it. However, I want to put a disclaimer before you do, okay? As I stated, Netflix is very left-leaning. So after I watched this particular special, it was really evident to me that they were trying to definitely paint a narrative, which was show the very emotional, heart-touching side on how the immigration laws affect illegal immigrants in this country. Also, how they affect immigrants trying to come into this country as well. There are little areas in the documentary that do show the reality of it, but then there's some that really are put there to more or less tug at your heartstrings, okay? So there are a few people that they kind of center the episodes around, and I believe there's 3 or 4 episodes in total, so it doesn't take that long to watch it. But it shows the ICE detention centers in New York and also I think Arizona and maybe New Mexico. There's 3 that they show in particular. They do cover with accuracy which immigration laws, are new, which immigration laws have been in place. So before you go and watch this, I want you to know one thing and be very clear about one thing, okay? Yes, it is very, very clear that with the new Trump administration that we've had the past 4 years, he has really cracked down on immigration. However, I want to point out, and you will see this in the documentary if you pay attention when they put some verbiage into the episode and read that, you will notice that none of these laws are new, okay? What they are is enforced. And that's the part that I think people have a lot of trouble with. Now, where these laws really started, as we know them today, was actually with President Clinton.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens.
He was the one that started this whole, immigration thing, and that he felt like we really needed to slow the spread of illegal aliens. And then Obama came into office and he took it a step further.
Even as we are a nation of immigrants, we're also a nation of laws. Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous. That's why over the past 6 years, deportations of criminals are up 80%. And that's why we're going to keep focusing enforcement resources on actual threats to our security. Felons.
And had them, build more detention centers, had them get a little bit more aggressive with the stopping of immigration over the borders, as well as the collection of illegal immigrants that are currently living in the United States. What Trump did was Trump came in, going back to Obama. So what Obama's directive was to the ICE officials was that we were to concentrate on mainly people that were creating problems, like criminals, felons, anybody who had a previous record, or, was being caught doing something, whether it was drugs or drinking or even, traffic violations. If it was breaking the law, that was kind of their excuse. Not that they needed one, but that was their directive, was to focus on those people first. Now, when Trump came in, he read the entire law and said, well, wait a minute, there's like a whole section here that's missing.
My fellow Americans, tonight I am speaking to you because there is a growing humanitarian and security crisis at our southern border. Every day, Customs and Border Patrol agents encounter thousands of illegal immigrants trying to enter our country. We are out of space to hold them, and we have no way to promptly return them back home to their country. It strains public resources and drives down jobs and wages. Among those hardest hit are African Americans and Hispanic Americans. Our southern border is a pipeline for vast quantities of illegal drugs, including meth, heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl. Last month, 20,000 migrant children were illegally brought into the United States, a dramatic increase. These children are used as human pawns by vicious coyotes and ruthless gangs. 1 in 3 women are sexually assaulted on the dangerous trek up through Mexico. Women and children are the biggest victims, by far, of our broken system. My administration has presented Congress with a detailed proposal to secure the border and stop the criminal gangs, drug smugglers, and human traffickers.
What the documentary doesn't go into enough is the amount of people that get to stay, okay? Now, when I looked this up, it is something like 80 to 85% visas and stays are granted per day, okay? Per day. So 80 to 85% of the cases that they're looking at per day are extended or granted, and the rest go back, okay? So they spend a little time looking at those people, and then they also spend a lot of time on people that are trying to come over the border to the United States and what they go through in doing that, which is something that I really want people to pay attention to when they watch this documentary, because that was the one thing that stuck out to me the most. Was I sat there and watched the great lengths that people go to financially, physically, mentally, to get not only themselves, but sometimes themselves and their children over the border. And they leave their families, they leave their wives, they sell everything they own, all to pay a coyote basically to help them get across the border. And the reason why that part stuck out to me so much is because now we have so many people that sit and complain about the United States and, rant about how terrible it is and how unfair it is here. And then you watch this and you see what people go through to get here, to be here. They recognize the value in living in the United States and being a US citizen. And there are so many people that take it for granted. So when you watch it, please pay attention to that angle, because it is a very, very important piece of the documentary. Now, I will admit to you, there was one part of the documentary, or one episode in the documentary, I believe is in episode 3, where they kind of follow this Marine.
Lopez was driving through New Mexico when he was caught with 50 pounds of marijuana.
That's another thing with the system. That's really what I'm fighting now. Person that I have talked to about the deported veteran issue, agrees that we should come back.
It's a very, very sad story. He served in the U.S. military. He did have like a small, petty criminal conviction, but did get out of the military, righted all his wrongs, and basically they follow him through the episode to be able to obtain a signature that would allow him to be in the United States and not fear that he's going to get deported. This poor guy has a wife. He has, dreams of owning a home and of having children, and he really can't do any of that because he is trying to go about it the right way. So he, basically goes to his congresswoman to try to get the signature to sign off on that paperwork so that he's able to stay in this country legally. So that is a very, very sad story. And it is a very, I think, probably more common than not story that the media doesn't focus on so much. They more or less focus on, the children being kept in detention centers, separated from their parents. And that part is a very, very delicate thing because just looking at it from the outside, you are immediately triggered emotionally and you feel bad for these kids and you feel bad for these parents because they're separated from their families. But here's the thing, okay? And many presidents before Trump warned of this. Obama warned of it. Clinton warned of it, is that these people take a huge risk bringing their children over the border. And unfortunately, it's a casualty of what happens when you get caught breaking the law. It's just like if you were driving in a vehicle and you were drinking and you had your child in the car, your child would get taken from you because you were breaking the law and driving illegally. That is what would happen in that situation, and that is what happens in this situation. But the way that Netflix paints the picture is to kind of show like they just took them away. They had no idea this was happening. It's very important to know that these people are very well aware of the risk. Now, the only people that I think are probably not as aware of the risk are the DACA people, which they were brought over here either at a very young age or their illegal immigrant parents gave birth to them here. So they know nothing but the United States. They grow up thinking they are US citizens and they're not. And then their whole life changes when they're told they have to go back because they do not have a legal right to be here. And they have no family or no knowledge of the land that they're getting sent back to. So if you just look at it like that, I can see how people think that Trump is against immigrants, but he's really not. If you learn anything from this documentary, it is that there is a process in place. Yes, the process needs to be fixed so that it doesn't take so long for people who are trying to go through the process correctly. But I really feel for what President Trump is trying to do. I see that he is trying to slow the incoming of people trying to, come in here illegally, because then it slows the people down that are in line. And I understand that there are laws that have to be passed to change some of those processes, but that takes the cooperation of Congress and, obviously the president and the Senate. All those people need to work together to help the issue. And I know that President Trump is trying to do that for sure. Okay. But unfortunately, we've had so much stuff going on that hasn't been at the top of the news. So I want you guys to go check out this documentary called Immigration Nation. I want you guys to let me know what you think. I want you to look at it with an objective eye. Don't just look at it with your heart. I know it's going to be very hard to, but also look at it with understanding why what is being done needs to be done. It is a very difficult decision that some of these ICE detention or ICE officers have to make. It is a very difficult decision that our president has to make. But it does take the collective effort of everybody if we're going to get to a point where we can safely and legally bring people into this country and make sure that we're not allowing people that don't belong here or shouldn't be here into this country. Drop a comment in the box after you watch it. Let me know what you think. If you like this video and you want me to do more reviews of stuff that I see online that could be informational for you or even damaging for you, let me know. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. drop a comment in the box, share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.